Can we turn back and stay in this dream for Can we turn back the light? Feels like I'm caught up in a trance.
What is good, Nymphan? Welcome back to the team help again, joined by SpeedyQ. How are you doing, buddy?
Very well in Unum. Welcome back. It's been a little break from last week with the international break and a bit of flu from your side. So good to see you.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I was really unwell last week. You would not have wanted to see me on camera. It was not a good look. But we will make up for it this week, won't we, Speedy? We will.
Most definitely. We only missed a little game week, obviously due to the international break. There was obviously quite a few games that were postponed as well in England and Scotland due to the heavy downpours. So not too much that we did miss.
Yeah, it turned out to be a good week to not be very well, really.
It's a good week, and you guys will all see if you're watching. I'm wearing my SA cricket and rugby outfit. We in the Rugby World Cup, obviously that's happening this weekend, and then cricket we're doing relevantly well in the World Cup too. So happy days from my side.
Yeah, no, it's good times, and really going to be cheering on the Springboks this weekend in the rugby. Love the rugby, so yeah, looking forward
Fantastic.
to that. Okay, then.
Fantastic.
So, since we said we would make it up to you guys, here is another chance for you lovely lot to win a silver pack. Speedy, how can they do it this week?
What they need to do is just comment in the chat for us. This week we want their top Gameweek 123 striker or forward. They can leave their comments and details in the chat. We'll select a winner before the podcast has ended. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow. And good luck.
Yes, lots of luck. Do let us know that. So start getting it in the chat, peeps. I know there's a few people still yet to join. So anyone who is new coming in, just give them a nudge, guys, please, in the chat, and let them know what they've got to do in order to win. Okay, then, cool. So, how did the players? And we have to cast our mind back a little bit, just a little bit. How did the players do that we discussed in 1-2-0, our recap? Because we don't have much to say about our own teams, do we? Really? So let's talk about those players.
Not really. A couple of MGC I think we both got, and that's about it. But our selections for Gameweek 120 were relevantly on point. We had Joseph Alou. He played 90 minutes, 199 base points on Ultimate Champions in their 4-1 victory against Sutton. He's very strong with his possession and defensive actions. And as you can see, even though he lost the clean sheet, still scored very well on Ultimate Champions. Then continuing with the defense, we obviously have Roland Nexuli from Sepsi, also 6 base points in UC in their 1-0 loss to Iasi. And as we say, even though he conceded, he scored very well. The saves and the keeper sweeper actions helped. And he's also obtained great points for his goalkeeper defensive and possessive actions, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And then the superstar, I think, on Ultimate Champions recently, since he's moved to Blackpool, Mr. Jordan Rhodes played 89 minutes, a goal and an assist, 243 base points in Ultimate Champions. They beat Stevenage 3-0. He's one of the informed Ultimate Champion strikers at the moment. He has played 2 matches since Gameweek 20 when we last discussed him, and he scored a further 2 goals and an assist. And it's one to just put in each team while he's in top form.
Yeah, he's absolutely been smashing it out of the park. So we did good there.
Massively well.
Yeah, so here's where the tips are at, guys, if you need them for sure. And with that, we will head on over to looking ahead at Gameweek 1, 2, 3 and our teams to target, please, Speedy.
That's it. Before I jump there, I just want to mention we're obviously currently in a midweek game week running on Ultimate Champions, which is game week 1, 2, 2. Most of the games are done. There's only one game this evening in the Romanian Super League Liga that still needs to take place. So keep an eye on all of the results and performances, and also on any injury or suspension concerns for the upcoming game week 123. Very important. Most of our summer leagues are basically coming or nearing to an end. So within the next month or so, most of them will actually end off. So a lot of our managers need to start switching their focus to marketplace or auction purchases or MGC packs for your winter leagues. Very, very important. Your Best of Delden Iceland is basically completed. Vekas Liga is done. However, there are a couple of playoff matches that are going to take place. So if no one has seen yet, we did put an announcement out that we've added a Finland five-a-side tournament in game week 1, 2, 3, which will cover the game between FC Honka and Oulu. And whoever wins that match will then take on VPS on the 1st and the 5th of November. So keep an eye out for those specific results. And then our last two summer leagues, Latvia ends basically the 11th of November. And then the Elite Serin extends a little bit further and completes on the 3rd of December. And then one other point before we jump into the teams for Game Week 123 is very important to notice, if you have any athletes, unfortunately, from teams that get relegated from these leagues, they unfortunately will not be covered in Ultimate Champions unless that athlete moves to one of the other clubs or leagues that we cover. So very important to take note on that. Let's bounce to our game week 1, 2, 3 teams. So our first focus is a team that you and I support, is Arsenal. Currently unbeaten and third in the English Premier League, played 9, won 6, drawn 3, no losses to date. An important thing to note when I was having a look at this is that in their 9 games, they've already played both of the Manchester clubs, Spurs and Chelsea. And obviously, we all know they are participating in Champions League football in midweek as well. So that puts into context the great start to the season that they have had. They play at home against newly promoted and previously licensed Ultimate Champions club Sheffield United. And with 18 goals for and 8 goals against, I think there'll be quite a few goals for Arsenal. So I think keep those Sheffield United athletes safely on your bench or in your collection, and go full out Arsenal. They'll be one of the top teams to look out for in game week 123.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's how long can we go as invincibles, do you think, Speedy? I think Newcastle could trip us up a little bit next game week.
Look, the Premier League, as we all know, is one of the toughest leagues out there. On any given day, another team can defeat another team. I just think we need to keep on grinding. Lately, it seems, and even at the back at the beginning of the season, even the difficult games where we're not playing proper football or proper Arsenal football, we are grinding out results, and that's very, very important in a title charge, if we can put it that way. It's a bit early to say a title charge, but at least we've positioned ourselves very, very well at this stage in the season.
Yeah, and you'll get to see my lineup towards the end of the stream, and I have definitely loaded in my Arsenal players. Okay, who's up next?
Fantastic. Then I'm going to jump on to one of our Romanian teams, which is Hermannstadt. They're currently 5th in the Romanian Super League. They've played 13, won 4, drawn 7, and lost 2. They're really one of the teams that are flying under the radar this season. However, with their 21 goals for, and I think they have 14 goals against, they've picked up some great results and are currently sitting in those championship playoff positions. They are fresh off a 4-0 victory against Dinamo Bucharest and unbeaten in their last 9 matches. So I predict another good performance against the other newly promoted team in the league. And players such as Belair, Gaman, Butian, and Stoica are good outfield selections. And don't forget Mr. Catalin Caboose between the posts. He's also been scoring very, very well since he's moved to them this season. And then last but not least, obviously we've announced Slovakia. Slovakia on to Ultimate Champions recently. So only good that we cover one of their teams. So Slovan Bratislava, they are first in the Slovakian Nike League. Played 10, won 7, drawn 1, and lost 1. They also play in the UEFA Europa Conference League this evening. So just take a note on what goes on there and have a look what their lineups are and make sure there's no suspensions or anything like that. However, they play Kosis, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, on the 29th of October, and they are 10th on the log. And I think players such as Tolic, Kavric, and Barsagian are some of the athletes from this team that you can target, and I'm almost sure they should get a victory over the weekend.
Ooh, yeah, but that's a great point you make. Make sure that you check your teams after tonight's games, for
Most
sure.
definitely. Most definitely. They're also traveling. They're actually playing against Lille in France. And with them playing this evening, which is the 26th, and then playing on the 29th, it's a 3-day turnaround time. So keep tabs on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, who are the 3 players we are looking at starting potentially?
The 3 players for this game week that we've got is none other than Mr. Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. Played 8, 4 goals, 3 assists. He has a last 5 scoring average of 196 points. He's basically the first name on the team sheet for Arsenal. As we know, he did miss the Man City game recently due to injury. However, because of the timing of the international break, he's had a little bit of a rest. He obviously played the full 90 against Chelsea. He scored 196 points, as I mentioned, in that specific game with an assist as well. Arsenal favour playing through him, and this enables him to obtain many possession and offensive actions within Ultimate Champions. The regular goals and assists are just an added advantage. And I expect, as I mentioned earlier, a big scoreline, unfortunately, in that game against Sheffield United on the weekend.
Yeah, it's the sort of game that I think we are heavily favourites, but it could be more difficult than it initially seems. However, I think with Ultimate Champions compared to some other fantasy games, it's still worth, like going all in with your assets because they get points for so many different things.
Most definitely. And any game in the Premiership, whether it's at home or away, as we mentioned earlier, is very, very difficult. I just think, especially after the tough game we had against Chelsea, where after that international break, the players weren't maybe gelling because of a lot of them being away and maybe being a bit fatigued. Hopefully, they're all gunned and geared for Sheffield United. And we had a good Champions League win as well, 2-1, which is good. So hopefully all that positivity flows into Sheffield United or against Sheffield United, and they feel the brunt.
Yeah. But there is one star man that I can see here that I know and love very well. Would you like to tell us why you think he's a great pick this week?
Most definitely. We mentioned him a little while ago, and we maybe wanted to present him a bit earlier, but he unfortunately picked up that suspension. But yeah, Mr. Amal Pellegrino played 22 goals, 13 assists, last 5 of 254 points. He is basically the Haaland or Salah for Ultimate Champions that you would have in your FPL team. His stats and consistency speak for themselves. He's also fresh off 4 assists in the last game week. And with Boda playing Lillestrøm, we expect another great performance from him. Once again, they are involved in Europa Conference League action this evening against Besiktas. They are playing at home, so just keep tabs on that. But with them in basically a 2-horse race with Viking, I think it is for the league title. They are 6 points ahead at this stage, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure if there's no injuries, they'll play him every game week just because they've got that target in mind.
Yeah, and when I think back to the tournament that I won, where I got to choose which card I wanted, and the 2 guys on screen right now in Saka and Pellegrino, are probably the ones I should have gone for. Instead, I went for Auriello. And
It's understandable.
it's yeah, it was a bit of a punt, I know, but yeah, looking back, maybe I should have been a bit more kind of gun ho on the more consistently scoring players at the time. But you know, they're both great picks, and I think if you've got them, you definitely play them this week. And there's another here that I can see that looks to have a good game week coming up.
Yeah, here's the decent one. It's once again covering the Slovakian team. So Alexander Kavric played 7 goals, 3 assists, 1 last 5 of 283 points. He's 3 goals and he's 1 assist. Even though that record doesn't sound too good for a striker, his 3 goals and the 1 assist have come in his last 3 matches for Slovan. So the striker is clearly in form. Slovan also has a nice run of fixtures coming up. And in the upcoming game week, they play Kostas, as I mentioned earlier, when we covered their team. And they're basically near the foot of the table. They have also conceded the most goals in the league. They've conceded 25 goals to date. And if I'm not mistaken, if I'm looking at how many Kavric has played, if that's 25 goals conceded in 7 games, that could be quite a nice game to be involved at. So a potential captain option there, but so are the other 2 that we mentioned a bit earlier.
Yeah, Rob saving me there. Fair play. Thanks, Rob. Auriello was a monster scorer at the time, to be fair. It's only the last 2 months his scores have really dropped off. I wonder why that is. Maybe because I got him. Oh,
Same thing
along with
happened
Jack
to
Clark.
yeah, same thing happened to the Sunderland boys, I was
Yeah.
about to say.
Oh, it's not funny, but it is. Okay, guys, if you've got any questions for us, do drop them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them for you as well. But we'll move on here to my all-star lineup for this week. And hopefully you guys can see that on the screen. We've just pretty much gone all in on this one. We've gone as big as I can possibly go anyway with my team. No sub tricks, just full all out attack. And I wanted to ask you guys, do you feel I've captained the right player? Because myself and Speedy were kind of between Palacios and Pellegrino for this one. I've got it on Pele because, you know, he's Pele. But what do you guys think? Let me know if you think I've done the right thing. But yeah, we kind of, when I say we've got all out attack, what I mean is we've got 5 defenders here. So like in FPL, all out attack would be, you know, obviously your midfielders and your forwards. But what I mean is we've used pretty much all of my best cards, haven't we, Speedy, in this particular tournament?
That's correct. What we did, I think in game week 120, if I'm not mistaken, we first entered our team in the international tier 1. So what we did this time around, when we say all around attack, is we did this specific All Stars Pro tournament first. You obviously need at least 7 epics to enter. So we put in all your or most of your best epics. We kept a couple, obviously, for the international tier 1 because we are focused on that as well. And I think with all the players that we have selected, most of them have fairly good matches. Yes, Bart Myers is playing FCSB, but if you look at his last 5 games and you look at Petrolol, they hardly ever or if they do concede, it's 1 goal. So his potential to score well is great. You've got Gabriel Arsenal, as we spoke about, he's playing against Sheffield United, so potential clean sheet, maybe even a goal from the corner. Bjortov is playing fantastically well the last couple of games. Edwards, our common that we entered, is prolific every game week. Hopefully, Lloris can do a little bit better this game week. And then small midfield, Odegaard and Palacios, and then obviously the 3 strikers that I think can do very, very well. And we've put semi-decent players on the bench. I don't want to mean that Panic is semi-decent. He scores very, very well. But we want to make sure that we have cover just in case there are any rotation or injury issues for going big in this specific tournament division.
Yeah, so I do have Saka, but I don't have an epic of Saka. And so with that, we kind of decided that we would play my epic Arsenal players, didn't we, Speedy? rather than kind of going, I guess, having a Saka over an Edwards. We've decided to go with 3 Arsenal epic cards instead. Still with me?
That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Just double checking.
100%. No, 100%.
You went quiet there. I was
Um,
like, it's still here.
No, apologies. I just want to mention something quickly, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, crack on.
Obviously, we're running the prize for the silver pack. Now, normally we have one of my colleagues in that will select the winner. Unfortunately, I've just found out that he needed to rush off to the hospital. So what we'll potentially do, we might not give the silver. We won't give the silver pack out before the end of the podcast, but we will take those details. We will do the actual draw, and I will announce it in Discord if that's all right. So please make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll get that list, and then we will do that draw for the pack. And I will do it today, guys. So don't worry about that.
And just remind them what it is they have to do for it again, Speedy.
They need to make sure they add their top striker or forward pick for game week 1, 2, 3.
Cool. Right. Well, with that, once we filled this in, we did go to my UC1 tournament, and with the cards that I pretty much had left, this is who I filled out here. Hoping you guys can see that. So I'll start at the back a little bit first so you can see. And yes, I have Clark as captain. So sorry about that, everybody. If you were hoping Jack Clark to make a comeback this week, I wholly apologise on that one. And I've gone with Itu up top, and then we've just kind of filled out the bench a little bit, haven't we? Because we're hoping everyone starts, I guess, on that one. So I wanted to go back because I asked about the captaincy in the last one. It was a bit mixed, to be fair.
Yeah, the father side that you're entering there, I think you've got a pretty decent team, even though we've added a couple of comments in. Most of them are playing well. We just hope that Sunderland returns to form against Norwich on the weekend, because I think Jack Clark as a captaincy pick can be great. I know we were torn between Junior Ito and Jack Clark for this game week 123 in this division. Yeah. I think Desmar will also do pretty decent. He had a great game the previous game. Le Havre is away from home, but playing against a side who is a bit lower on the log. And yeah, we had fun selecting these teams because, as you know, we've got a little issue at the moment on Ultimate Champions where it's difficult to filter players, etc. So if anyone is not aware that is listening, make sure when we announce that has been resolved, that you go and check your teams and make sure you have the correct players in the correct divisions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little glitch there that happened on the update, so make sure you go and check that once it's been updated. We had a few shouts for my captaincy on my other tournament. Gunnar says Oriello versus Supernova. So maybe I could. Can't go wrong with Pelly, says Cam. And Grant says Palacios. So we had a bit of a mixed bag on that one. Yeah, so we'll have to maybe they just don't want me to curse certain players. At this point, I could start taking payment, I think.
There's some nice suggestions there by the community. I know exactly why Civilized is pushing Aurelio. So yeah, some interesting picks.
Definitely. Well, cool. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, everyone's just popped in just as we're heading off. So welcome, guys. Do make sure you go back over what we've discussed, as we're a nice short stream, so it shouldn't take you too long to catch up. And do make sure that you follow the instructions for the silver pack, and we will get that announced on Discord shortly. But for now, do have a great game week. make sure that you join Ultimate Champions. The link is in the description below. Make sure that you only put in what you can afford and do not do anything else. It's not big and it's not clever. So thank you all so much for joining us. It's been great, hasn't it? It's good to be back, hey Speedy?
Been brilliant. Thank you very much, guys, for joining. As Nim said, remember, kickoff tomorrow, Gameweek 123 is 3:30 Central European time. So make sure of that and keep up to date with the announcements, especially when we resolve these issues. Have a look at the Discord. Appreciate all of your time and thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We may have a little switch around on when we're streaming next week, but we will update you and let you guys know. So until next time, Nymphree out.
Feels like I'm caught up in a trance. Can come down all night. The city never stood a chance. With you by my side, it's all ours. So don't second guess. Let down your guard. Just take a chance. I feel the hours ticking.